Welcome back to another episode of Exploring Shasta County History. I'm your host, Jeremy M. Tuggle. Today at a very historic site, the site of Diestelhorst's River Camp, also known as Diestelhorst Auto Camp. I'm at the southwest approach of Diestelhorst Bridge, where the dual plaques are, one commemorating the historic Reed's Ferry and the other commemorating the historic auto camp that used to be here at this location. In 1914, the construction of historic Route Highway 99, also known as the Pacific Highway in Shasta County, California, begins in the southern portion of the county at the town of Cottonwood, and eventually its construction traversed its way to Redding, the county seat, and north of Redding throughout the Sacramento River Canyon, where it was completed in 1922 at Costello. A major portion of the scenic route was the erection of a state highway bridge crossing the Sacramento River at the Diestelhorst property of Redding, before the highway reached the outskirts of the city limits, which was then utilized by the Reed's Ferry, owned and operated by George Baker, a local ferryman. In July of 1914, the Reed's Ferry was taken out of service by construction crews, who dismantled the cable to the historic ferry at that time. The Reed's Ferry was established in 1851. While construction commenced upon this brand new state highway bridge, it wasn't completed till August 15, 1915, and thrown open for public travel at a cost of $56,471.06 that day. The first motorist to cross brand new state highway bridge was George Baker, a month prior to its completion on July 29, 1915, at 12 p.m. noon that day. The bridge was designed by architect A. V. Sath of Berkeley, California, and the construction was completed by the Chico Construction Company of Chico, California. The brand new state highway bridge was promoted as a free or non-toll bridge, which was originally called the Reed's Ferry Bridge, also known as the State Highway Bridge and the Diestelhorst Bridge. In September of 1917, contractors commenced the construction of U.S. Route 99 north into the Sacramento River Canyon in Shasta County from the Reed's Ferry Bridge. During the following year, 1918, the city trustees of Redding tried capitalizing on a new lodging system along U.S. Route 99 in Redding and purchased the local Bassett farm. Plans were in development to improvise the property with a free auto camp for tourists. The project was backed by the Redding Chamber of Commerce, but nothing came to fruition with the property which the city trustees purchased, and the city officials claimed that Redding was losing $40 per day for not having one, which leads me to believe that the Diestelhorst auto camp was not among the first auto camps in the state or nation as it's commonly believed. Others existed before it. The debate of the free auto camp for Redding continued into 1919 and into 1920, when on April 22, 1920, the Courier Free Press newspaper Redding heralded the following account: free auto camp open. City manager completes installation of water, toilets, accommodation, shade for visitors, trees are doing well. Redding's free campground for automobile tourists has been completed by city manager Ernest Rollison and is now ready to be used by visitors. Rollison has set out 200 trees on the 10-acre tract at the foot of Market Street set aside for the campground. A well supplies water and ditches run to all the trees, which are American elm, European sycamore, and poplars. All the trees are doing fine. Toilet accommodations have been provided, and the city manager has built 4 arbors for the use of campers. Vines have been placed around them for shade, and palm leaves will keep out the sun from overhead. There is city water on the ground. The free auto campground is the first step in the city trustees in the development of a park system. The above auto camp was the first auto camp which came to fruition in the city of Redding. To my surprise, I found no information at all regarding an auto camp at Reed's Ferry Bridge in the local media outlets, nor in the city directory from the years 1919 and 1920. However, John Diestelhorst did establish his gasoline service station prior to building the auto camp, which was connected with it. By August 1st, 1920, the following was reported in the local media. Twin Service Station. John Diestelhorst named his service station near the Reeds Ferry Bridge Diestelhorst Twin Service Station. Find watermelons and cantaloupes as well as gasoline. Twin Service Station of Reading, where fruit and vegetables could be bought, which was grown on the Diestelhorst property near the bridge, was sponsored by Union 76 and was sometimes known as Diestelhorst Service Station. It became the headquarters for the Diestelhorst River Camp, and it was a place where customers would go to rent cabins, boats, and other items from Diestelhorst when staying at his auto camp. However, the service station predated the auto camp, which wasn't built yet. It wasn't until I scrolled through the microfilmed local media to the date of March 25th, 1921, that I found the following article from the Searchlight newspaper Reading, which rendered the following information. Making automobile park along the river. Reading is to have an automobile park on the banks of the Sacramento River and just above the state highway bridge at Reeds Ferry in the northern suburbs, thanks to the enterprise of John Diestelhorst. He is putting up a score of little cabins with roofs that will be rain and sun proof and is laying off camping spots for those who have tents to put up. Ample accommodations will be provided for automobiles. Diestelhorst says that he will have accommodations for 75 automobile parties at the same time. Being on the banks of the river, close to the highway and close to the business part of Reading, the location could not be better. Reading has never had a real automobile park, one deserving the name. The automobile camp, which was established by city manager Rollison, appears to have failed by the state. Diestelhorst called his roadside rest stop Diestelhorst River Camp and celebrated its grand opening in late June of 1921. Diestelhorst started promoting his business in the local newspapers, and he began charging his customers 50 cents each to stay in one of his top-of-the-line tents on site, which featured the best accommodations, appliances, and furnishings of the modern era in the region. Tents were pitched up on these concrete platform slabs, which are shown in the video, and later small cabins were erected on Diestelhorst property. Eventually, Diestelhorst furnished them with electricity and catered them to travelers year-round while making his customers stay relaxing and pleasant. The Diestelhorst River Camp competed against another auto camp on the outskirts of the city limits on the southern end of Reading, which was owned and operated by Updike and Weston. Considerable work went into maintaining the Diestelhorst auto camp, and the following incident relating to John Diestelhorst occurred on August 11, 1922. John Diestelhorst hurt. John Diestelhorst was hurt slightly at his auto campground Wednesday when he fell from the running board of a car and got tangled a bit with the running gears. His ankle was bruised and knee hurt. The injuries are slight, but they are enough to keep Diestelhorst flat on his back at home and away from running boards. On September 11, 1922, the following was reported by the Record Searchlight newspaper Reading. Brush fire Sunday. The fire department was called to the Diestelhorst campground Sunday night to extinguish a brush fire that attained menacing proportions. The Diestelhorst River Camp became a first-class summer resort of its era, and with the already active local swimming hole and state highway bridge in place for jumping and diving competitions, this luxurious resort boomed with success as Diestelhorst hosted travelers and local residents. Its owner, John Diestelhorst, placed an additional $3,000 into this summer resort by erecting a dance pavilion for outdoor dancing and recreational use upon the Diestelhorst property at this location. The new feature was constructed at the south approach of the State Highway Bridge. The brand new dance pavilion opened at the auto camp on July 21st, 1923, and the floor measured at 153 feet long by 80 feet wide. It was canopied by twin cottonwoods on one end, and 100 electric lanterns for lighting was strung about the dance floor. The dance pavilion was often cooled down by the cool breeze blowing in from the river on a hot sunny day. Major bands from Los Angeles to Seattle came to play in front of large audiences here as well. Diestelhorst kept his busy roadside rest stop up to date. Modern renovations made to his auto camp while the world changed around him, and eventually the slow, weary travels of motorists utilizing the scenic routes which were once popularized with these auto camps became overlooked with time, and This form of lodging was replaced by motels, especially with Interstate 5 coming into the region and taking motorists away over a faster route. The business was not so lucrative as it used to be. One story pertaining to the Diestelhorst auto camp was that of a thief posing as a deputy sheriff who made the rounds in the campground during the early morning hours of October 28, 1926, going from one unit to the next and awakening the tenants. The unidentified person was questioned by a curious camper who asked the intruder what he wanted. To his surprise, the person said, "I'm just looking around. Don't worry, I'm a deputy sheriff." The intruder then cut the screen of one of the cabins and entered it through a window while the tenants were asleep inside. No harm was done to them while they slept away. Clothes, trousers, and $18.08 were stolen by the thief posing as a deputy sheriff that morning. The front office was notified immediately, as well as the Reading Police Department. The next day, Shasta County Sheriff W.W. Sublett arrested former Copper City resident Clem Hanley for the theft of the auto camp and brought him up on charges of impersonating a peace officer. He had stolen a gold watch on October 29, 1926 at the town of Winthrop when Hanley was arrested for these crimes. Hanley gave his age as 20 years old. He was locked up in the Shasta County Jail at Reading. Once again, the Record Searchlight newspaper Reading reported the following incident on June 5th, 1929. Camp cabins burned. Flames which broke out in Diestelhorst's campground Tuesday afternoon on the north edge of the city near the river destroyed 2 cabins before the fire was extinguished. Years later, on February 2, 1940, the Diestelhorst Bridge survived the highest flood the Sacramento River ever produced since the Diestelhorst Bridge was completed in 1915. Yet the former auto camp came to its demise due to the flooding and high water, which carried away the remaining 30 cabins on the property in the river's swift current and destroyed them as they headed south downstream. The Diestelhorst River Camp was now a thing of the past, as the Diestelhorst property became flooded and the flood waters reached Miracle Mile and the Diestelhorst service station. This was before the construction of Shasta Dam, which started in 1938 and was completed in 1945, which now controls the water in the Sacramento River. The above article is from the September 4th, 1974 edition of the Record Searchlight newspaper of Reading, which announces the completed sale of the Diestelhorst property of Reading to the city for $205,000. For years, the city of Reading tried purchasing the historic Diestelhorst estate since 1956, when the city made their first offer to the Diestelhorst family. The land encompassed 27.5 acres at that time and included the Diestelhorst house, which was built in 1906 and still standing on the property at that time. The previous house, which is shown in the above photograph, was the original Diestelhorst house, which was reported to have been destroyed by fire in 1905. History repeated itself on June 12, 1975, when fire ravaged the historic property, destroying everything on site, as well as the Diestelhorst house. Firefighters battled the early morning blaze, and investigators couldn't determine how the fire started, whether or not it was natural or arson-related. A lot of history was destroyed that day, which was put out, or at least authorities thought it was, contained, because on June 13th, the fire rekindled again at the same location, causing a small blaze upon the historic site, while firefighters battled the blaze again. Finally, it was contained again and kept on watch. This area over here to my left is where the auto camp was. We'll be walking into that area shortly. Diestelhorst Bridge right there. Pretty nice hiking trails back in here. Of course, connecting to the Sacramento River Trail and right along the Sacramento River. Beautiful day out here today. Not so hot, not so smoky. And we're coming up to the well here. There's a look inside it. Here's one of the concrete pads here. With bottles. A lot of broken glass in the area. Hopefully the concrete's coming out. I know the shadows are playing with me from the trees. This looks like more concrete here. It is. This one has drain to it, looks like. This is what I mean. See that? How neat. May have been where one of the showers was. More concrete right there. Okay, we're coming up on a series of concrete platforms here. See, you got one here. And they're just in a series in a row right here. Trails over here. The next one is coming up. They're literally right next to each other. One is over here. Almost covered up to where you can't see it. This next one's a little bit better. Keep in mind this would be right next to historic route Highway 99. How neat. We got one right there. That's where the trail is, right there, that dirt path. The river trail is up above it. Could you imagine bringing your family during that time period to one of these cabins and staying in them? That must have been something else, being in an auto camp like this. This one is kind of built differently. It has two, well, you'll see what I mean by built differently. The concrete is a little bit higher in parts, and there's some, I guess, iron parts to it. See? There's that one there. We're on the same pad, by the way. Still on the same pad. And quite different from the others that we've seen so far. Interesting. Another flat pad here. Again, another one that is almost covered up. Got one more right here. Another one over here. Almost. to the point that it's covered up. Barely see concrete right here. Part of it's broken off right here. Just going all the way down. More concrete pads here. A couple of smaller foundations here. See the platforms. So when we started at, coming back this way, stepping on one now. And coming up on another concrete pad here. Right here. Alright folks, please like, share, and comment on the video. And if you haven't yet, please smash that subscribe button. I'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.